I'm here tonight to talk about the annual programming cost adjustment on the cable system. A bit of background: Easton Cable, like any other cable television provider or satellite provider, has to purchase the programming that goes onto our system. So each of the networks we go out and contract with to be able to provide that programming to our customers. These networks charge us a per subscriber fee based on the programming package or tier that cable channel appears on. So, for example, ESPN being in Tier 2, we have to pay for all Tier 2 subscribers whether they watch ESPN or not. And ESPN dictates what the rate is going to be. In fact, the networks all dictate, have quite a lot of stipulations depending on the network. They may dictate not only what tier they are on and what price we have to pay, but what other channels must be right next to them, and which of their other networks we're also required to carry. Again, as the example of ESPN, you'll see that we carry quite a few of ESPN's products. That is all contractual. These contracts prohibit us from providing programming in an a la carte manner, and a lot of you may have heard of this term through the popular media. We cannot just charge you to watch the History Channel if you want to watch the History Channel, but not ESPN if you don't want to watch ESPN. It's simply prohibited in the contracts that are required to be bundled into the programming tier. The programming cost adjustment itself, it's an annual adjustment we make that's based 100% purely on the increase charge the networks charge Easton Utilities. As I said, we have these contracts. They usually have an escalation for each of these channels. It may go up a little bit, it may go up a lot. The contracts are multi-year contracts, and they're renewed depending on the contract, typically between 3 and 5 years. This was a big year for renewals. Many of our networks came up for renewal, and many of the rates went up. We pass these charges along to our customers without a markup. That's something that's different about Easton Cable, and I think one of the advantages of having a not-for-profit, community-owned cable company. None of the revenue that comes from these increases stays with Easton Cable. It all goes to Hollywood or New York or wherever the channel may originate. We base this adjustment on any known or knowable change in what that rate may be from year to year. So if channel A is going to increase by 5 cents, what their rate was, if they were 10 cents per subscriber last year and they're going to 15 cents per subscriber next year, the package will increase by that 5 cents. You then add them up for each of the channels, and the change is the accumulation of those additional rates. This year, we had sort of 3 main factors driving increases. The first is retransmission consent. Retransmission consent is a right that was given to local broadcast affiliates. That's the NBCs, ABCs, CBSs, and so on, Fox, that you know through their local stations, WTTG, WBFF, WBOC, WMAR, and so on and so forth. They charge Easton Cable for the right for us to broadcast their signal to our customers. It used to be fine for them to make their money off of access to our customers to be able to sell their advertising. That's changed, and the rates have increased dramatically. Taken together, we started to see increases actually from each of the channels of as much as 1,000% when we began negotiations this year. We had one station come in at 1,000%. We had others in the 400 to 500% increase. We were able to negotiate those down fairly successfully. However, at the end of the day, we saw the total package of local broadcast affiliates increase 60%. 5 of the networks increased by more than 100%. That added approximately $3 of total rate increase. Now, you'll also recall these are the channels that are available to all the customers, regardless of what package you have, so everybody started with that increase. Sports programming was another big driver. It always has been and continues to be an ever larger driver. It added about $3.50. Sports programming includes the highest priced network on any cable system. And in total, sports accounts for about $20 worth of the total programming cost in the Tier 3 package. That's our sort of top package with the most channels, not including the HDs. I should mention as well that there is what I'd term a gag order in these contracts. We are not allowed under the contract to be able to tell our customers that Channel A increased their rate by this much. All we can do is say that we were in negotiations and the negotiations were completed. We're not allowed to share any of those details with our customers. I believe that that's a huge disservice to American consumers. I believe that that takes the wind out of the argument that it's a free market. Because in a free market, you need perfect information. And this does not allow for the perfect information. The third factor that led to increases this year was down-tiering. What that means is taking a network that may have been in a higher tier where there are fewer subscribers and under contract requiring that it be brought down to a tier where there are a lot more subscribers. We had one network in particular that added significant increase because it was brought down from a tier with a very few number of subscribers into one with almost all of our subscribers. For you, I passed out the programming cost adjustment for 2015. It's in the packet. I gave you both the press release and underneath is the actual increase itself. These rates will be effective with bills rendered in February. Likewise, any package that includes one of these tiers will go up by the amount of the increase in that tier. And the tiers, the increases are for Broadcast Basic, that is our basic service, $3.45 a month. For Tier 1, $5.20 per month. For Tier 2, $8.80 per month. And for Tier 3, $10.05 per month. That has helped a good bit. But still, all cable systems are challenged by these increases. One of the major providers, one of the largest cable providers in the country, recently added a $3 per month broadcast surcharge to handle what the local affiliates were doing in a lot of their areas. Another one had $2.75 broadcast surcharge and is adding an additional $2.75 sports programming surcharge on top of their other increases. What does this tell us? This is a trend that's impacting all systems at about the same rate. We're at the end of the pipe and bearing the brunt of these increases.
There's been some news stories lately about how some of the other regional carriers have dropped one or more local affiliates. I believe WBOC Salisbury may have been the subject one. From what you're telling us here, it sounds like Easton's going to be able to continue carrying all of the local affiliates that we've carried.
It is our intention to carry all of the local affiliates, and this does not include dropping any of the networks. You have seen around the country how contentious some of these situations have been, and there have been blackouts where consumers are not able to access programming during these negotiations. We did everything we could to avoid that situation, yet still fight tooth and nail for the best rates for our customers.
Thank you.
Do you, as potentially I'll form it as the younger generation, maybe dropping their cable packages and going to streaming sources like Hulu Plus or Amazon, things like that, and using antennas. Do you think that puts more pressure, additional pressure on companies, the affiliates, the ABCs, NBCs, CBSs, to then try to push it harder on the local cable? So is this just something that's going to increase over time?
So we're in a very interesting time in the video business. It is changing. It's transforming. and we're seeing more go online than ever before. But the programmers are starting to charge for those online services. So for the same price that you can get your, one of your cable packages right now, you may get a handful of these online subscription channels. Sure, there's a lot that's out there that's still free, and we're all taking advantage of that, right? The problem is it's free now, but it's got to be monetized later. And that's where we are going. Easton Cable's been planning on that for a number of years. Eventually, all of this is going to be done over the internet. The transition, exactly how that happens, is still in the works. There's a lot of different strategies to make sure we get there. Easton Cable invested heavily in fiber optic cable and in making sure that we had redundant, sufficient pathways out to the internet so that we could grow into the demand for internet service, particularly video-driven internet service. Right now, 45 to 55% of all traffic over the internet is going across Netflix and YouTube. That is a tremendous amount of bandwidth, and it's only going to grow more and more and more. I'm happy to say that Easton Cable Velocity has plenty of capacity to be able to handle that now and into the future. That Easton Cable Velocity's internet speeds right now are sufficient to handle that, and will continue to grow to keep pace with it. So yeah, today's model of television is changing dramatically. This year, as opposed to last year, our consumers here in Easton have far more choices about how they can get video programming, right? It's not just Easton Cable, Dish TV, and DirecTV, 3 options, right? But you can also get over-the-air programming. You can go to Radio Shack right now, buy an antenna, and get HD programming at your home. Not the same full package as you'll get with either Dish Direct or Easton Cable Velocity, but you'll be able to get that programming. You can go online and get Hulu and Netflix and a wide variety of other services that allow you to stream that. You can get sports programming from a variety of websites, both legal and illegal, as friends who've watched hockey in Russian have told me. It's a whole new world that we're moving towards. Right now, the traditional cable model is caught in the crosshair. What Easton Cable gives our customers is as much transparency as one can possibly do under the current construct of these contracts by simply increasing the rates by what we're charged. I'm excited for where the future will take us. I'm extraordinarily disappointed in this industry at where it is right now.